So it seems that a lot of ladies are getting divorced before they turn 30. And as someone who got married at 26, has been separated for a little over a year, 32, I have to tell you, I don't think there's anything better. If being in your 20s is the trenches, there is nothing better than being in your 30s, still being hot, maybe having a little bit of your own money, figuring out what you want to do with your life, everything, and having tried that married fantasy and realizing that it's maybe not all it's cracked up to be, and then you've got your whole life still ahead of you. So for all of those people who are stressed or feeling stressed about that, about being divorced, like it's good. Congratulations.
I'm 40 and I'm single. I'm 40 years old and I'm single. When someone says that they're single, the first assumption is to think that there's something wrong with that person. Society tends to normalize relationships even when they're toxic. So I see being single as powerful. It's a sign of strength, stability, and passion, showing that I don't rely on anybody else for my happiness. I'm perfectly capable of fulfilling it on my own. This positive mindset empowers me so that when I do meet someone, they're an addition to my happiness and not the sole source of it. This is the secret to finding contentment in solitude as well as in a loving relationship. Remember, a strong woman doesn't need you, she wants you. And there's a difference.
Song Joong-ki, Song Hye-kyo, so both parties, they have these wildly successful acting careers before they meet. He was obsessed with her and the fact that they were going to be casted in the same role. So this is like their very first real introduction, also going to be each other's love interest. The show, international sensation, the drama ends. And then a month later, they announced that they're getting married. Married October 2017 until about 2019. They announced their divorce. Wasn't joint statements put out at the same time. Song Joong-ki filed for divorce. Song Hye-kyo was out of the country and she found out about her own divorce through the news. Reason everyone felt like it was her fault. Like he was the one breaking up with her. She was not a good wife. She didn't care. She was still focused on her career, which is exactly what he was doing. December 2022, he announced that he was dating a new woman, a former British actress named Katie Louise Saunders. The next month, he announces that she's pregnant. Because she got pregnant very quickly after their relationship status was released, maybe Song Hye-kyo and Song Joong-ki got divorced because Song Hye-kyo had allegedly mentioned to people she was going to try and get pregnant and it wasn't working. Or some people state that maybe Song Hye-kyo wasn't ready to have a kid because she's at like the prime of her career. It was said that she was paid about $200,000 per episode of The Glory.
Oh, we're comparing stats. Baby girl doesn't know that I am Tom Brady at this game. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. I'm still keeping Tom Brady on his toes. We should not be afraid to leave these men. We are not stuck with these people. Marriage is not a sanctimonious thing. It is paperwork. It's something, it's a commitment you make to someone. But if you feel like you're not getting anything from that commitment and you're trying, you gotta go. You have to go. I know it's difficult to fill out paperwork and to make appointments and to do all of these things, but this is your fucking life. Do you want to be stuck with someone? Period. Do you want to be stuck with someone?
How old are you?
34.
Where are you from?
Germany.
What do you think men at 34 are going for? Women your age, or are they going for the younger girls?
Well, from my own experience, they think they want somebody my age, somebody who's a professional, who has a career, who has their own mind, but they then sort of want to form you into somebody who's maybe more, you know, I don't know the word in English, I want to say shapeable.
They feel like you're stuck in your ways and they're looking for a woman who they can show the world to, but you've already seen it.
That's a very positive way to put it, yes. I think there's a lot of trying to influence the way that especially young women carry themselves, and I think at a certain age you've already seen a lot, you've done a lot, especially, you know, if you're a professional, you don't need somebody's money.
You just take a lot less shit from people.
So at 34, what are you looking for in your man now?
That's the thing. I'm looking for a man. I keep on meeting boys.
What made you think your ex was a boy?
Oh no, he wasn't a boy. What I'm saying is that now in the dating life in Miami, I'm meeting a lot of boys instead of men.
Why do you get so much food? Why?
I caught the fish.
Yes.
I made the fire.
And?
I cooked. I did all the work. And everybody got something.
No, we all worked.
What did you do?
We gathered all the wood for the fire. We need to work together. They don't know how to do that.
Exactly. And maybe that's why you should not be so lazy and dependent on me.
Abigail, I think you're forgetting that we work on a yacht. You are a toilet manager. You don't know how to handle this.
What yacht? Where's the yacht? Who am I?
You're the toilet manager.
No. In the yacht, toilet manager here. Captain, who am I?
You're the captain.
Yes. In the yacht, cleaning lady here, Captain.
I was listening to a conversation with a divorce lawyer, and the question that was asked to him was, what are the current trends you're seeing as a divorce lawyer? And he said the most common thing that he's been seeing as a trend, and of course this is not to say for everyone, but this is just his experience, is that the women are doing everything. They are the carers of the home, they raise the children, they cook, they clean, and they financially provide, and the men disengage. And so it's not necessarily that levels the men up, where they feel that they want to, reinforce their masculinity or find a place to exist within that dynamic of marriage. They would rather tap out and remove themselves. And Shannon Lester had mentioned it, and she had said, I'm really butchering this and people are going to come for me for it, so bear with me. But they asked men, would you be okay with dating or being with women that had a higher salary to you? And their answer was like, yeah, sure, absolutely, no problem at all. And then the second phase of the experiment was they put those men in rooms with women that were operating at a higher salary. And 80% of those men changed their minds when they were interacting in the same space as the women. And also they couldn't even be in a physical proximity to women that were financially more successful than they were.
A gold digger is someone who takes your money and runs. A woman who wants to marry a man with money is not a gold digger. She's just a smart woman. Because marrying a man with money means you're automatically in a safer neighborhood. You have better options for schools for your kids. You can send your kids to college. It's not just, oh, I get a Chanel bag or a Birkin. No, it's also just a better lifestyle, a more secure lifestyle, and a better life for your kids overall. So this idea that if a woman wants to marry a provider man, she's automatically a gold digger. No, I'm now a believer that that's just a psyop by broke men. No. It's never been like that. Throughout history, every woman and everyone, when women used to be married off by their families were looking for the richest man possible to give them off to, because they knew even back then, hey, I want my daughter to be provided for and have a nice lifestyle. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only smart way to do it. Not just, oh, I'm going to marry some broke man because I like him. Hey, it's just as easy to fall in love with a rich guy as it is a poor guy.
You cannot buy any of the beautiful homes around me. You can't. Impossible to buy them. And the reason being is they were specifically built to be rented out, which is just insane. Let me know your thoughts on this. I looked it up and they're renting out for $2,400. And what's sad about that is if you would have bought, one of these houses or something similar in 2021, early 2022, your mortgage payment, even with 3.5% down, would have been less than $2,400. Not a lot of people know this, but in Las Vegas, last time I checked, about 14% of our houses are owned by investors. Most of them are owned by one big company whose name I should not mention because I don't want my video to get taken down, but you can Google your way into it. This company owns like half of the world, and that number just goes up every year. I honestly think, the little for rent sign, I honestly think this is kind of what the world's gonna end up like. We're just all gonna be renters paying super high rent, not able to save enough to buy our own places.
Hey, Joe Rogan, what do you call a person who was once married to a Russian-born IT security analyst that has held a security clearance in America and then worked at banks and then went into a bank account of their ex-spouse and tried to transfer more than $1,000 to themselves, but the police did nothing even after they received proof? Oh, you would call that parts of my life. Not funny. And the story goes on and on and on from there. So why is it that we allow illegal and harassing activity such as sewing an air tag into the lining of my 8-year-old's jacket, which he admitted to in court, and what happened? Nothing. Nothing. I'd like to come on your show and share what's happened in the last 7 years, like how criminal it's been, how the justice system has done nothing, how broken everything is, and will it ever change? And is there a way to fix it? And does anybody care?
I know who you are. Nicole Mossbacher. Can I, do you mind if I...
Please.
Yeah, thank you. I'm having a little career crisis, and I saw you working over here, and I just wanted to say that I admire you. And you've just accomplished so much, and as a woman, it's inspiring.
It's very sweet.
Sure.
What's your career crisis?
I've been hustling my whole life, and I've made inroads, and it's not like the best career, but it's not nothing. But Shane, my husband, he's from this very, very wealthy family, and he's very successful, like way more than I am. I worry that his orbit is stronger than mine. His gravitational pull is gonna like suck me in and lose my mediocre career, which is whatever, but also like myself.
May I ask, did you sign a prenup?
Yes. But it's,
But if your marriage ends, you're not set for life.
no.
And I think you've got to be really careful. And you've got to keep your own orbit going, because you don't want a few years down the line to have abandoned your career. And I'm not saying this is going to happen to you, but marriages don't always work out. Especially because you seem to be a smart and appealing young woman. Your power is your independence. Don't give up your power. Women have a lot to navigate, and I just think it's really important to support women when I can.
I, like many of us, was taught to grow up dreaming of my wedding, not of my life. And I spent many years dreaming of my wedding
to the choir.
and also waiting to be chosen. Well, here's the thing. I'm the chooser. And I can choose to get married if I want to, but in the meantime, I am choicefully single, happily, gloriously single.
Most women, all the women I know, most of the women I have ever met, were raised from the time they were little that to be a good woman is to be good for other people. So if you're a good mom for your children, if you're a good wife for your husband, if you're a good sister, daughter, friend, then you're good. And the hard part about that is, number one, your value is fully wrapped up in someone else's perception of you. Right? The other thing is, I don't know ever that anyone is deciding that you're a good mom because you're taking care of yourself. No one's ever like, oh, Sarah, look at Sarah training for a marathon. She's such a good mom. Nobody ever says that.
So true.
And so there is this idea that you've got to show up for other people or you don't have value. And that's even crazier when you think about, like, what about the women who don't want to have children? What about the women who aren't married? So they have no value because they can't, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
You regret it not having children? Do you ever regret having them?
Women have told everyone to just fuck off. Tired of being judged for choosing to have children or not have children, to have children and go back to work, to have children and not go back to work, for being too thin, too fat, too pushy, too unambitious, too hot, not hot enough, or even for just daring to be alive. Women have stressed that everyone can go fuck themselves.
So let's talk about the real benefits of having a baby when you're older, like some of us. Okay, had her at 47. Patient as a mother. Like, oh, you don't want to sleep? Oh, you just pooped, so it's probably not gas. Oh, you don't want to eat either? You just want to scream? Okay, cool.
We'll take a walk outside. No problem. She can't beat me. Patient as all get out. She got a little seat. Look. Okay. Put her in her little outside chair. And we just kind of walk the neighborhood driveway back and forth. I am unfazed. Welcome to having an old mommy baby.
75 years. That's how much time you get if you're lucky. 75 years. 75 winters, 75 springtimes, 75 summers, and 75 autumns. When you look at it like that, it's not a lot of time, is it? Don't waste them. Get your head out of the rat race and forget about the superficial things that preoccupy your existence and get back to what's important now. Right now, this very second. And I'm not saying drop everything and let the world come to a grinding halt. I'm saying that you can become a seeker. You can be loving more, you can be taking some chances, you can be living more, you can be spending more time with your family, you can be getting in touch with the part of you that lives instead of fears, the part of you that loves instead of hates.
You're responsible for keeping a human alive, especially at a toddler age. That's a lot of work. I'm afraid I'm gonna go bald because I don't have a lot of hair. Oh my God, I have generalized anxiety disorder, so like everything.
Living.
Life. Life.
How do you cope with that?
Sometimes you gotta go on a walk.
Money.
Money.
Inflation.
My biggest anxiety right now is that I'm unemployed and waiting to see where my next paycheck/job is going to be.
Just being stuck in a job I don't like.
Finding a job. Keeping a roof over my head.
Time.
What's gonna happen next?
Where am I gonna be in the future?
Not achieving what I set out to achieve.
I feel like I'm on track right now, but I could always fall off.
I don't know if it's success that scares me more or failure that scares me more. Mortality. My parents' health. Losing somebody I love.
How do you deal with that?
Cry a lot.
Ending up alone.
Being alone.
You know, it gets lonely at night, you want to cuddle.
People leaving.
Being by myself.
Not making friends in a new place.
Hurting other people.
Even if it's just something like I may have said by accident.
That I'm actually unlovable, that people are my friend because I've convinced them to, and that deep down they actually hate me.
Not doing enough.
And that I won't be enough.
Or letting people that I really care about down. Disappointing people.
You're not good. This is not gonna work. You know, these people hate you.
Being unhappy.
Internally, no passion.
Never feel like proud of myself.
To me, the biggest tragedy of life is not being alone for longer than you wanted or ending up alone, but ending up with someone that you could only be with by choosing ignorance over the truth. Because the reality is people don't tell you who they are, they show you who they are. And I'd be a billionaire by now if I had $1 for every time I ignored a red flag a man waved in my face in my 20s. Because I thought that closing my eyes meant that the red flag didn't exist. And the thing is, I got lucky because every time I closed my eyes to the truth, I always opened them to find that he had left. And though it felt like abandonment at the time, it was the universe's way of telling me I was too stupid to make my own decisions. And so if you've just been dumped or had your heart broken, please remember that the worst thing in life is not being alone, but believing that the company of a man is more important than the company of the truth. Ignoring the red flags now only means you have to deal with them later. Because ignorance isn't bliss, it's deferred misery. And your misery right now isn't your misfortune, it's your tuition. Now it's up to you what you do with that education.
Your hat. Is this your secret to staying warm?
No.
No, it isn't.
I have no secrets. I'm mad, I have to go to work, I have to earn a living. I'd rather have a private income and get laid well and often.
George Clooney married Amal Alamuddin this year. Amal is a human rights lawyer who worked on the Enron case, was an advisor to Kofi Annan regarding Syria, and was selected for a 3-person UN commission investigating rules of war violations in the Gaza Strip. So tonight, her husband is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Don't spend so much time trying to be physically attractive as you could spend time being mentally attractive.
Ooh.
And I say that because growing up, you always want to find your pretty, right? Like girls are maturing more than you, developing more than you. And I just remember always like learning how to do eyeliner, learning lipstick, learning lashes. Like how much more can I get to find my pretty, you know, getting the push-up bra going, you know, getting your body, your waist snatched. And after a while, I was like, wait, I'm never going to be that type of pretty that I don't even think I'm going to be happy with. You're constantly going to chase this pretty because someone else is always going to be prettier than you. So if you keep looking for that, it's such a false sense of pride and such a false sense of joy that you don't want that anyway. So after a while, I was like, what else about me do I really like? And as I started to actually focus on more of what makes me instead of the eyelashes or the makeup, I became a television host. I started to hone my craft more. I started to get more jobs, and I felt sexier when I could hold a conversation with a man more than just this girl that maybe had bigger boobs than me or a better butt or whatever it might be. So for me, I would tell women, like, stop focusing so hard on being physically attractive because that mental attraction will snap any other person's neck. Like, it'll really beat you in a room.
Different results require a different energy, especially when it's pertaining to creating a new life. If you're trying to expand, if you are trying to elevate your life, what was acceptable before is probably now considered a very low vibrational experience. So most likely whatever worked before will not work in your favor now. Be honest with yourself. And if you feel like you keep hitting a wall, you keep running into a dead end, I want to share a few questions that I asked myself when I was ready to make my personal life shift. What kind of life do you want? And what do you need to let go of in order to live this life? This was a big one for me. Are you being nurtured correctly in order to achieve your mission? What's holding you back? What's distracting you? What does success look like for you in this transformation? Now, for me, this next one is the root of everything. Are your choices and your values aligning with your personal truth? What fears or beliefs are holding you back in order to make the necessary changes? How are you ever going to achieve the life that you dream of and deserve if you don't even know what that is? Let's start there.
My father was a preacher, so I have a complicated relationship with faith. Plus, I'm a scientist, so I have a complicated relationship with faith.
Welcome to debate.
There's just not much of a debate when one side has proof and the other has guilt.